Hello and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Stars, Stripes, and Anfield Nights. I am your host, Rigo, and tonight I'm joined by Brandon, Colin, and soon to be Drew. He's probably cleaning off his mouth. He was having dinner just a second ago. Quick roll call. Sorry to blow up the spot, Drew. You're probably listening anyway. Quick roll call. How's it going, Brandon?
Going pretty well as usual. It's Friday for me, so I'm ready to really enjoy the rest of the night. I've got a couple sodas here. I got a new gaming computer, so I'm ready to kind of stay up all night like I used to back in my early 20s and really hate myself tomorrow when I have to go to the doctor.
Oh no. Yeah, well, when that alarm bell rings, it's gonna treat you like a Turkish owner to a referee. Just slap you right across the face.
Yeah.
Uh, Colin, how are you doing, sir?
I am well. Trying to finish this semester. I got like today and tomorrow of finals, and then I am done. I will sleep for a weekend. You know, I had been waking up like super early, even on days where Liverpool weren't playing at 7:30 or very early. So yeah, it's been a struggle. Brandon, is your computer your holiday gift to yourself?
Yeah, it was the very stupid gift to give myself when it's like I really don't need it, but it's like, yeah, why not? I'm
I-
bored right now. Let me just spend $4,000.
Yeah, I gave myself a Spider-Man PlayStation 5,
Oh, nice.
but I like won't set it up until Christmas. I'm
You
no
got more control than me.
hands off.
So, well, wow. So you haven't even started downloading anything just to have it ready to go. You just it's still in the box.
It's still in the box. Still staring at it. It's like right down here below me in the big box. But I was replaying Spider-Man 1. There's the PS4 Spider-Man game, which is like awesome.
Still
It's
awesome.
like
Yeah,
it's an incredible game.
definitely.
So I was replaying that, but yeah. Oh, I'm gonna wait for Christmas Day. I'm not wrapping it up and unwrapping it myself. But
All
yeah.
right, Colin exploring tantric gaming there. So awesome. Good on
Ooh.
you. Drew, how's our writer friend? How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I just had to get home and shovel a plate of pasta in because I have my own soccer game in like 3 hours. So just trying to keep the pasta in so I have enough energy to play and have it settled so I don't throw up on the side of the
Yeah,
field. But
going carb heavy prior to a match there. It could go either way. Energy or yeah, like you're saying, puke that right out just because it's so heavy and dense there. But good luck
how
there.
you
Good
doing,
luck,
Rico?
definitely. Doing great, guys. Doing great, Drew. Quick check-in. I'm checking in from the Pocono Mountains here in Pennsylvania. Brandon, quick check-in for you. Where are you hailing from?
I'm from the recently crowned MLS champions Columbus Crew. I'm right here in Columbus, so it's a great time to be in Columbus and get to watch Liverpool every single weekend. Come back from deficits they shouldn't be in and still win the games.
Yes, definitely.
Big
And
fact.
Colin, you're checking in from where?
Other corner of Pennsylvania. I'm in Pittsburgh or outside of Pittsburgh. It is a bad time to be most Pittsburgh sports fans. So Liverpool is the only thing keeping me afloat.
Same here as far as a New York sports fan, which I am. Uh, Drew, where are you hailing from, sir?
Los Angeles, despite the San Francisco shirt, that's where I lived before LA. But from the East Coast originally, a lot of family in New York, Rigo. So we grew up a New York sports fan, unfortunately, and not Yankees. So there you go.
Yeah, but even that San Francisco Giants shirt, they're originally from New York, so. But all right. Well, back to the matter at hand. Of course, you are joining a Liverpool stream here at LFC Transfer Room. Thank you all for joining. Make sure to hit like and subscribe as well. But as you can tell from the title of our stream today, our Liverpool FC title favorites at the moment. I'll go to you, Drew, first for your thoughts on that.
I mean, I don't think it changes just from the current situation we're in right now. I think, like, when you talk about title favorites, that should be a discussion for the beginning of the season. Um, and that should hold throughout. Like, I know that situation changes as the season goes on, but That's why I'd say we aren't favorites for the title. I still think City would be the favorites, and then Arsenal, based on how they did last year, the fact we're in the position we are now, I think surprised most people. Maybe not Liverpool fans, but after rebuilding a whole midfield, I still, and then the injuries we have, especially like Matip, and then a few other significant ones, I wouldn't put us as favorites just yet, but we're definitely in the top 3 for putting it in the mix to win at the end of the year. And I back us all the way. That's just my thoughts, though.
All right, Drew. Good thoughts there. What about you, Colin? What do you think? Are we favorites at this moment in time? You're muted. Sorry. That was me earlier.
Still muted.
Still muted.
Oh,
Man, we kicked off the
nice.
stream a little late because I was having audio
I know.
issues. I'm
Killing
glad I was not the only one.
But I'm doing it live for everybody to see. No, my cord was unplugged, so that's good. All right, great. The answer is yes, because we are in first place. And until something changes, the answer is because we are in first place, we are therefore in a title challenge. Are we the favorites? I think probably not still. I had seen some tables of like what it kind of looked like at Christmas, especially over like Manchester City's last several wins, and they haven't, they've been in fourth, they've been in second, they've been in third. So, not all, times where in the second half of the season they absolutely kick it on, and just don't lose a game from like February
Yeah,
on.
they reel off like 15 straight wins or 15 straight undefeated run, where you can kind of see that talent gulf between them and kind of the rest of the league kind of shine through.
And the depth they're able to provide, with their money. So we're definitely in it, and as long as we're staying towards the top, the longer we stay there, the longer we are going to be in it.
All right. So the favorites for now, because we're in first place, even though it's a slim 1-point advantage over Arsenal. What about what do you think, Brandon? Are we the current favorites to win the Premier League title?
Well, I think I'm going with the American kind of saying you got to, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. So until it's kind of, I think if it's April and we're up 4 points, I think like Basis Flower says here in the comments, if it's April right now, I think, we'd be the favorites. If we were 7 or 8, 9 points clear of second place, I'd say, we're definitely favorites. But right now it's one game goes against us, one game goes in somebody else's direction. It's a completely different outlook to who's the favorite. So I think it's still a little bit too early to go into it. With Man City, though, you can see them if you've seen it already this season. If Rodri goes anywhere, there's a complete mountain they fall off of. I don't even know if they're a top 14 without Rodri. Like, that's how important that guy has really seemed this season. Like, they're night and day with him on the pitch when he was not on the pitch. So I know because I thought without KDB they'd really fall off, and that was not the case. But then Rodri gets a suspension or two, and I think they've lost 2 games, drawn another one. That's where they dropped their points. So he's the key to everything. He's probably the best player in the world, as much as I hate to say it, or the most important player in the world, as much as I hate to say it is. Yeah, but
that's a shout.
Yeah, how daring of me. No, he's quite the player, but like I said, I think it's still too early. And like I said, until they won 3 straight titles, you got to consider them the favorites until they're almost mathematically out of it.
Wow. So, based on history alone, definitely, even though City, as we saw last year, they could be out, a few points, trailing the lead, or they could still make that ground up. Question posed there by Paul. Seriously, guys, other than Haaland and Rodri, which other Man City player gets into our best 11? Not including Kevin De Bruyne, who's currently injured. I'll go in reverse order. Brandon, I'll let you tackle that one first.
Doku. I think Doku. That's the guy I would take.
Doku gets into our first 11.
I don't know if he'd get into our first 11, but he would definitely be pushing pretty hard for it. I mean, he's a tremendous talent. As much as I hate to say it, Bernardo Silva would be somebody who could definitely push his way into the first 11. As much as he's kind of a rat, he's one of those you kind of want that rat on your team. So he's unbelievably talented as well. So there's a couple players right there. I'm trying to think of their center backs. I'd take Konate over any of their center backs, and definitely taking Virgil. But yeah, I think that'd be just about it. Maybe give us Cancelo to play on the right hand, like down the right wing back, to give Trent more midfield options.
Now, I was about to say not Kyle Walker, just to shift Trent to midfield, as some are calling for, as far as purchasing a right back.
Yeah, maybe Kyle Walker, but more experience. In our system, I don't know, he is pretty fast, so I don't know.
What do you think on that question, Colin? Do you think any other than Haaland and Rodri? Rodri definitely. Haaland, I'm still partial to Darwin myself, but what about you? What do you think?
I think based on our current left wing options, I think Doku probably does right now. I don't know about permanent class. Is he better than all of our options? Maybe not, but on current form, I think he probably does. Ruben Diaz probably is our second. Probably gets in as the opposite center back to Virgil. That would be what I would think. Those are the first two that really stuck out to me. I think everything else is can be a real
taster's choice, but your preference
could be a real 50-50 on it.
Not anything overwhelming on either way. All right. What about you, Drew? Besides Haaland and Rodri, who gets into Liverpool starting 11 in your opinion?
I think, as much as I hate him as well, Brandon said it. Bernardo Silva, I think, might just to have him. I think he's one of those players that I really do not like as a person, but he's pretty phenomenal on the pitch. My outside shout out would probably be Alvarez, though, because I really like his game. I think I kind of want Darwin to push out on the left. I love Lucho, and I think he deserves to start, but I'm really curious to see Darwin come in and play off the left for a run of games, just to see how that affects his play. Because I think traditionally it was our wingers who were scoring most goals. Salah still continued, but Mane was our other big source of goals. And I'm wondering if that's just the way we're set up normally. I know Darwin, goes in behind, but he can still do that from the wing. So I'm kind of really hoping that he gets a run out on the wing. Maybe Gakpo starts up front. I don't know. But I know Gakpo picked up the niggle. But if Alvarez was up top and then Nunez on the left, I'd be really excited to see how that front three would do. Well, what about you, Igor?
For me, I'd be curious definitely with that Ruben Diaz shout as far as being the bookend or the other twin tower with Virgil there. I think pretty talented pairing there. Rodri definitely I would take, but since he's an obvious one. But other than that, yeah, unfortunately, I'd probably have to lean towards Bernardo Silva just because his versatility across many positions on the pitch is quite valuable, and he's even played CDM for them in some spots. Do I like the player on a personal basis? Not whatsoever, but definitely he'd make a case for himself to be in that starting 11 for sure. So overall consensus is kind of a wait and see approach. We're a little too timid to cement that Liverpool are title favorites. For my own opinion, I think that we are. Reason being, I think to be in first place after the hurdles we've kind of climbed early on in the season, with a bunch of refereeing decisions going against us, injuries, missing players that we currently have, and integrating a bunch of brand new players as well, we're in a prime position already in first place. We've done a lot of hard away matches already, so we've kind of gotten those out of the way. We already have more away matches played than home matches, 9 to 7. So I think we're in good position. Obviously, barring any significant injuries, especially to Allison, yeah, as well as obviously Mohamed Salah or any other of our star players. But I think we're in prime spot. So I I would say we're the favorites currently, and I'll stake my name on that one. But moving along from our thoughts on current title favorites, let's deal with current situation at hand. We did see a post today from one Alexis MacAllister, propping himself up on crutches, sitting on the couch, looking like he had an air cast or some form of cast over his left leg there. Um, Jurgen Klopp said he had a cut on his knee. From what we've seen, it seems to be a little bit more significant than that. How concerning is his injury? And in light of that injury, who should be our midfield three, at least for the Premier League? Obviously, we have the Europa League coming, and there's going to be a bunch of turnover for that. But how concerning is that injury, in your opinion, Brandon? And who should be the starting midfield three?
Excuse me. It's a little concerning. Obviously, you never want to see anybody on crutches. I don't know if it's quite as bad as maybe as those pictures are making it look out to be. I think a lot of just kind of keeping pressure off his knee as it looks pretty swollen, especially the kind of the tackle he took. He still played another hour on that knee, so I mean, it's not like he was destroyed, but at the same time, it's still worrying anytime you're in a cast. But I think overall, it's not going to be the worst injury. He's not going to be out forever. And then midfield three in the meantime, I mean, you got. Trying to think. Obviously, Soboslai. I'd like to see Harvey Elliott a little bit more, especially after his cameo over the weekend. I know there was reports of a Diaz injury. I'm not sure if I followed the chat enough today about whether that ended up being a thing or not, or if that ever got confirmed or not.
Didn't see anything posted. I know one of our guys got word of that, and shared it, but I didn't see anything official.
Yeah, I never saw anything about it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's not a thing at all, because that can change a lot of my opinions here. I think Curtis Jones steps in. I think that gives him another role. I think he can kind of rotate into those positions that Macca can do. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of the big key there, is just getting Curtis back into integrated and playing the way he was kind of at the beginning of the year, and especially the end of last year.
All right, good shout. So, all right, so Curtis Jones in place of McAllister, especially our winning record with him as far as a starter has been quite stellar on a recent note. What do you think, Colin? Who should slide in? How concerned are you, first off, and who should slide in to form that midfield three?
When I first saw it, hugely concerning. Like the crutches, the cast. There's the one picture of like a syringe in his leg, full of the doctor looked like he was taking blood out, which you can only kind of guess at what his leg probably looked like. The puncture wound in his leg from it. I'm sure it was pretty ugly. It's concerning enough that that he's going to have to be out until those stitches heal. The last thing that you would want is him re-tearing those stitches in a game and causing more timeouts. So concerning enough, but not frankly not as concerning as if he did his hamstring. So I'll let that heal up. As soon as those are good, I'm sure he'll be good as new. Midfield three. Yeah, I think
are you riding the gravy train, or are you keeping up with the Joneses?
I think based on it almost depends on who the opponent is. I think if it's someone who you expect to dominate the ball, I think it's probably Gravenberch, Jones, and Szoboszlai, and then Trent can kind of when we're in possession, Trent can kind of help with those 6 role responsibilities. If it's something where you expect to be a little more defensive action, I think based on Klopp's choices, I think it's probably Endo and Jones and Szoboszlai would be the 3 that I would expect to see. Not necessarily what I would do, but that's what I would probably expect to see from him.
All right, so shouts for Endo Jones and Sabozlai. All right, not a bad start there. I can definitely get behind that one. Drew, what do you think? How concerned are you with the potential of McAllister's injury, and who would your starting three be?
Not hugely concerned. Not because I don't miss McAllister and don't want him in the team, but I just feel like we have a lot of cover in the midfield. I know that he's been playing number 6, and we don't have that much, but Curtis can do a shift there. You got Endo and Gravenberch, and I think Klopp doesn't, always play that traditional number 6 anyway. Endo seems to be the only one out and out, but so that's why I'm not too concerned. I definitely don't want him out longer than a couple weeks, which might be what the case is, but especially with the holiday period coming up. For midfield 3, I definitely think it depends on the game, but for me, all I'm looking forward to is the weekend, the game against United. So, throw out the reserve team on Thursday. I don't care. Like, we don't need to win. We don't give all the youngsters a chance. I'd love to see a team full of youngsters. And then on Sunday, I would love to see Gravenberch, Jones, and Sabazlai in the midfield and absolutely just overpower Manchester United, because I don't think they will be offering much going forward. And if we can just dominate, I think those 3 can do that with their youth and their energy.
Good shout. Personally, for me, I'd go Gravenberg, Endo, as well as Dominic to start. Just looking ahead to Sunday. For those of you unaware, Manchester United finished 4th in their group stage of the Champions League. Therefore, they're out of the Champions League, and also they failed to drop down to the Europa League or Europa Conference League or any other type of tournament having to do with the European continent. So they're out, which certainly increases the temperature on the skillet that Eric Ten Hag might find himself sitting on currently. So Sunday's lining up to either be a resounding kick right in the face once again into Man United, much like last year's 7-zip, or it does have the potential to be that banana peel. Today we're talking about our Liverpool title favorites, and let us get a bad result on Sunday and watch how quickly that chatter ends and the world, much like the world would seem like it's ending. But yeah, I think we're set up fairly well for Man United. One thing we obviously have to worry about is just because of the way they play, is anything on the counter. I don't think they can string more than 5 passes along. Watching some of their rondos, I saw a tweet, I believe yesterday, of their rondos. They couldn't string more than 3 passes together, and then they were comparing it to the rondos that Eric Ten Hag had at Ajax, where they were just zipping the ball around, and it's completely night and day. So yeah, it's looking great for Sunday. But I definitely go for myself, Gravenberch, Endo, Wataro, I should say, as well as Dominic. But yeah, I'm not overly concerned. He looked in good spirits, and definitely with his funny tweet or funny post or comment on Mohamed Salah's picture. He got presented with the jersey commemorating his 200 goals at practice today. McAllister posted saying that he couldn't wait for me for the picture. Obviously, he was recuperating, so seems to be in good spirits. So we should be as well. But on that note, before we move on to the next topic, make sure to like and subscribe. We do definitely appreciate that, and it helps the channel out. And by all means, drop a comment in there as well. It definitely helps us out and provides feedback to us, which is always welcome. All right. One question before we move on down, just on the topic of Bruno, and I'll throw this around. Rigo, this is to me, but I'll throw this around. Do you think Bruno deliberately picked up a yellow to avoid us? I would say yes, but at the same time, I just think he's dumbheaded enough to just get angry and frustrated and not even think of the amount of cards he has. And to me, he's an entirely selfish player just by his behavior on the pitch. That I don't think it was purposeful. I just think that's just who he is, and he's just gonna whine and cry as much as possible until he gets carded or gets his way. What do you think, Brandon? Was it on purpose?
And I think subconsciously it was. I don't think he was actually thinking about it, but I think he knew in his bones that he needs to get a yellow and get off that game. So I think he wasn't thinking about it up here. It was in here, like in his heart. And he's like, yeah, I don't have the heart to go play Liverpool, so I got to get out of that game.
Colin, what do you think? On purpose?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't do it on purpose. No. Although it would be funny. It would be funny, but no, he didn't. Like, I don't think he's not evil genius smart. Like, he's not like plotting and scheming. Like, he's just he's just the guy. He's just the guy that like robs the bank and then gets caught. He's not like making giant plots and schemes to get away with heists. It's a bad analogy, but you get what I mean.
He would fall into the trap of there used to be a TV show. I'm not sure if it's currently on, but Bait Car, where they would just leave a random car just sitting on the street with the keys inside and hoping that someone would just fall into the trap and drive away and end up getting arrested. So he's more along that line as opposed to
he's
mastermind.
He's the Joker henchman, not the Joker.
Okay. All right. Drew, what about you? So that's one on purpose, one not on purpose.
I just don't think he was paying attention. Yeah, like maybe subconsciously I like that shout from Brandon. But it seems like he gets very frustrated on the pitch. Like, I think one of the criticisms a lot of people have is his body language or like complaining to the referee. And it just seems like something that like he probably in the moment wasn't even thinking about getting another yellow card, but just was at his usual antics and got the yellow. So I just don't think he cared or was just being himself. So on purpose or not, probably not on purpose, but I'm sure he won't be upset that he's missing the game, especially if he's in one of those sections of the locker room that wants Ten Hag out.
Yeah, it'd be more of a serendipitous, fortuitous occasion for him that he's missing the trip to Anfield. I wonder if he'll make the trip to just even be up in the box to watch them play or not. Highly doubt it, though. And I'm sure the rest of that locker room super pleased with him as well. But all righty. All right, so on to our next topic. With Joel Matip coming off injured, messing up his ACL, likely spelling the end of his career in a Liverpool uniform. The talk as far as the other primary partner for Virgil, which would be Ibrahima Konate, extension chatter has popped up. There has been interest popping up, and it's been posed to him in various occasions as far as moving over to PSG. Ibrahima Konate, he's a Paris boy, born and raised there, so obviously Paris Saint-Germain is the team of the city. So with talk that we're looking to extend him, is this positive news in your mind? I think before I get to you guys, I think obviously we do need to lock him up. I do think he's more a 1B to obviously or 2A, I should say, to Virgil's 1. I do think we need a very solid 2B to his 2A, just because of the history of injuries and the needing to not play him so many minutes consecutively. But I'm very excited to hear that we're possibly extending his contract. I'll go over to you, Drew, first. Thoughts on Konate getting extended?
I think definitely yes. I don't like how he gets injury every so often, but as far as the quality of player that he is, I think he's got an extremely high ceiling. I think he can be one of the best center backs in the game. I don't think he needs to move to PSG right now either, especially since Didier Deschamps has speaks so highly of him. He was talking about Konate playing in the Champions League final at Liverpool. Just he views him highly. I think he was one of the best players for France in the defense when he came on at the last World Cup. So I don't think he has to go on that front. And then PSG right now, I think, is a bit of a mess. So if you want to be playing at the highest level against the best teams, I don't see why he'd move away from Liverpool. Maybe he goes to PSG on kind of like a heyday kind of tour, but for sure we should sign him up. And I think it's just rumors trying to, fill in the Mbappe gaps once Mbappe leaves. Who would go next? Just the rumor mill.
All right. What about you, Colin? Excited that we were Konate set for a full contract extension or not?
Yeah, yes, he is absolutely the next one. I think who is deserving and really needing that long-term lockup. Although where I differ, I think, is a little bit on the kind of current state of the PSG project. I'm really interested in this. It's very intriguing to me, the kind of like youth movement that and direction that they're going in, where they're like, we are going to sign up the best young talents we can get for reasonable fees, and especially a lot of the best young French talent that we can find. And that is going to be our MO. We are going to be the best of what France can put out. Which, it does scare me a little bit in terms of Konate maybe having his head turned. I think that is a higher likelihood of turning his head in this young, very France forward movement that they have going, rather than if it was PSG 2 years ago, they were we want you to join the super team. We want you to join with, to be essentially like Real Madrid light. We want all the Galacticos, and now they've cleared house almost entirely, and especially of those people who had kind of attitude issues and are now really. I was watching a game of theirs, the last Champions League window, I think, and I there were several people who I was I don't even remember who that guy is, and they're 19 or 20 years old and electric. So I think signing a new contract for Liverpool, from Liverpool's perspective, should be as quickly as you can get it done. If he's interested in signing the deal, get that pen to the paper immediately.
All right, and so no concerns as far as his injury history. Definitely extend him with a raise, obviously, to stay above any interest. All right, Brandon, where do you sit on the potential talks of a contract extension for Konate?
I'm all for it. The only thing Konate has done wrong in a Liverpool shirt is, missing games here and there with health, muscle injuries. I'm trying to pull up stats at the same time. I mean, he's got 68 games over 3 seasons, and that first season a little bit start and stop. I mean, every time he plays, he's immense. You see why he's the best partner for Virgil right now. If he was 28, I would say the PSG rumors would have much more legs to him. But he's 24. I don't think he has any interest in leaving one of the better, best clubs in the world at the moment. I do see what Colin's saying, signing all those young talents, French talents. He could be kind of seen as the centerpiece, big French name coming back home to kind of be the cherry on top of this new French Revolution.
But a fellow Frenchman Kimpembe there or something like that.
Yeah, and then I also think the rumors are usually right around the time contract extension starts, all of a sudden there's murmurs this team's interested, helps drive up, a couple more thousand a week, or, maybe adds another zero to the end of that paycheck. So I think that's more of what those rumors are. I don't think he has any interest in leaving. I think he really loves Liverpool. The way he kind of looks, I think he really loves being a part of this team, which watching these guys week in and week out, who wouldn't want to be a part of this team? So yeah, I'm all for Konate getting another contract, getting a contract extension, sign him up. If he can fix some of these injury issues, then we've got a world beater at the back for the next 8-9 years.
Yeah, definitely. Supremely talented player. Probably the underhyped one of the pair of the RB Leipzig center backs between him and Dayo Upamecano, who he himself got a huge contract with Bayern Munich. Yeah, I'm all for signing him up. Fellow anime fan, and obviously passing that around the team, as we saw at the weekend after Harvey scored his winning goal. He did a Kamehameha right into the crowd. So I'm all for signing up Ibu. He's definitely seems very big part of the team. Very bright personality, always smiling, and while he might be one of the younger guys, he definitely has a big brother appeal there as well. And he was immense. Not the last game. Last game he was. He came off the bench to help out Kwanzaa, but the game before that, set a record for winning, I believe, 20 aerial duels, which was the high for quite a number of years. So, yep, I'm all for it, especially in light of obviously losing Matip and perhaps Liverpool now kind of shifting what perhaps would be on their holiday wish list, if there is a wish list. Well, as you know, we do have FSG as our ownership, so you never know how they might be viewing the transfer window. But with the holidays approaching, as you can see, I'm in my Lissandro Martinez sweater. Uh, the holiday wish list might be changing a little bit in light of Matip's injury. What would be at the top of your wish list, gentlemen? Is it a CDM, a starting CDM, which we're seeing a lot of fans cry out for? Uh, Paulina has hit the rumor mill quite hard this week, or is it more of a center back, as we've seen Piero Inca, Piet's name come up again, or Ignacio, etc., or Maxence Lacroix? I'll go over to you, Brandon, first. What would be at the top of your wish list this holiday season?
If we were going to get any left-sided center back, Ignacio would be way up there. But one that I don't feel like is talked about enough is Nico Schottlerbeck from Dortmund. That's one that I would really enjoy. I think his size, he's very graceful on the ball. He scored an absolute rocket of a goal earlier this season from like 35, 40 yards out. That was just top corner beauty. He just seems like a logical next like Virgil van Dijk type if Ignacio is not on the table, because I'd rather Ignacio over Schottlerbeck, but left side center back would be my top priority. I feel like Endo can do the job when he needs to as like a full-time, like as a 6 when needed, but I don't feel like we need like that full-time, like that anchor Fabinho lighthouse role. I don't think that's what this team is looking to do as much. It looks like much more of a kind of an athletic, go for it type of midfield, more McAllister ball playing, Soboslai going after everything, Jones, Gravenberch, Elliott, all these different guys who just know how to play. I don't think we're really set in for like a lighthouse role. So like a central defensive midfielder, obviously if they're that type of game changer, like a Rodri type at Man City, then yeah, that'd be wonderful. But there's only a couple different Rodris, like, you know, like in the world that you could really think of, like Fabinho in his prime, like those types don't grow on trees. So there's no reason to go just get somebody. I like Paulinho, but he is 28. Like as soon as he signs that contract, the value gets cut in half. It's like buying a brand new car off the lot. As soon as you take it off the lot, it's half the value that it was a couple days ago. So I mean, it's just I'd rather have the left-sided center back, and Schottlerbeck would be way up there beside Ignacio.
All right, Schlotterbeck, shout out, and definitely with Borussia Dortmund ties, obviously Jurgen Klopp, that was his previous club prior to moving to Liverpool, so would be kind of nice as well. Comment there from Haler, not many 6s around, which have a decent level. Paulina and Zubimendi should be replaceable, but they would cost an arm and a leg. Zubimendi, the younger of those two, but obviously not Premier League proven. And we had also, all right, put up the comments in a second. Drew, what's on the top of your wish list? Is it a CB or a CDM?
I mean, if it wasn't FSG, I'd say both. I mean, if especially where we are in the season, like top of the league, flying in Europa, still in every competition. I know FA Cup really hasn't started yet. We'll see with Arsenal, but like This is what I felt like we've talked about in the past. Rigo, I know you're here when we had the push for the quad. It's like if there's any time to invest, I hope FSG have learned their lesson is to do it when you're at the top. Like
Mhm.
you shouldn't do it retrospectively after like the wheels fall off and you're like, oh well, we need new wheels. Like let's while your car's just waiting on the side of the road and everybody's just passing you by. So I really hope we do get both CDM and center back. I'm a bit torn because I don't quite know if Klopp wants the traditional CDM. Brandon was saying, and there's not many out there at the moment that really are attractive to me. But maybe I throw Kone out there. I know he's not the traditional CDM, but I was always interested when we were linked with him in the summer, and like that'd be a great addition to the midfield. I'd be very excited. Center back, I'm not quite sure. I know like that's the one where I feel like he won't or FSG won't buy because was it Nat Phillips is coming back. So I could see that being like, well, you got Nat Phillips, you got Gomez, you got Kanate, and Virgil van Dijk. How do you need more than four? Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a
But
numbers game as opposed to a talent game.
yeah,
Yeah, Phillips hasn't made a dent at Celtic at all. Reece William at Aberdeen hasn't sniffed the pitch either. That Klopp was able to squeeze out from Stone top four finish that year. Quite amazing, especially in like that. No one has wanted to purchase these players since that day, since that season. Quite crazy.
yeah, that's pretty much it for me. They'll probably throw Endo in like at center back before, because it probably wasn't on the plan. It wasn't in the plan. So, but yeah, I think we should get both.
And Colin, last but not least, what's on the top of your holiday season wish list there?
Yeah, like Drew, I want both. I am absolutely terrified that we are going to be, painfully on brand, and to be like, well, you got your senior center back in Nat Phillips and Reece Williams back, and your stopgap crew is back, so no center backs for you, buddy. Honestly, the loans for our senior guys have been absolutely disastrous. None of them have gotten games, like none of them. They haven't like sniffed the pitch.
Tyler Morton's the only one really killing it.
Yeah,
on the loan right now.
Thank God there's at least one. And Tyler Morton also.
Is that the CDM we need?
No, it's not. Although I rate him. I think he's going to be like he played so well in that last international break for the England under-21s. He played awesome. So like absolutely no hate or shade towards him whatsoever. Yeah, literally. I mean, and that obviously his situation hugely affected by the Xavi Simon signing for them. And
Fabio, you're talking about, yep.
Yeah, he's been incredible for them. So like I get it, but I don't. The loan situation is horrifying. So my worry is that those guys are almost all going to come back. And then they're going to say, okay, well, you got X, Y, and Z back. So now what else is an absolute need? And I think it's going to be one or the other, and not just both. So my guess would be a CDM. If we can get Palhinha for 40, 45, I think we'll do it. And I think that someone mentioned it being like a stopgap. And I think it kind of is. I think it's kind of like a 2 to 3 year stopgap, because I don't think that they're absolutely convinced that anybody on the market currently is like the right guy. Like there's no, I don't think that they have anybody who's like, this is really, really who we want, who we are absolutely convinced of. And so for that amount of money, I think that would be a reasonable signing. But yeah, the center backs.
Anything higher than 40 or I think 40 is even stretching it. Or
I would
45
be
because
very.
for the 40 range is what we got for Fabinho, but obviously that's inflated due to Saudi Arabian Saudi prices.
I think 40 for a Premier League midfielder who is playing, all kind of like playing very well is very, very reasonable. They were, what was Crystal Palace asking for Czech Decore at the end of the summer? 70.
80. Yeah.
Get
70? Yeah.
lost. Get lost with that. Paulina is
long-term injury. He hurt himself pretty bad last week or the week before.
Yeah, not a good decision from them. So I think 40 would be a very reasonable amount of money to pay.
Speaking of not a good decisions, at the
yeah. Oh, he froze.
Were we saying for a 40-45 would be reasonable?
Yeah, I think 40 and 45 would be. Yeah, you did, but that's okay. You're back. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, 40-45 I think is good. And then I just worry that the Matip injury has moved up the need for the center back from next summer to now. I think that was the plan for next year, and I just don't think that there's realistically any way that something has to be done about that situation. You can't just ride, you can't ride Joe Gomez, Konate, and Gerald Quanta the rest of the year for 4 competitions. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, definitely. I do think it does shift it for us all, and also because we do have 2 mids that we were counting on for minutes this season still on the mend that we are hoping are going to contribute. We did get word that Klopp is expecting Thiago by the new year. Knock on wood. I hope that's true. We saw both Thiago and Stefan in the picture for Salah's 200th goal celebration. I think with the Matip injury, and again, he was playing tons of minutes as a primary pairing with Virgil for this season so far. I do think that it's more of a pressing need. Not for the simple fact that I think Joe Gomez, some might disagree, but I think he's been immense to this team this year in his ability to fill in at multiple positions, whether that's starting or coming off the bench, allowing Jurgen to shift things tactically, coming in at right back, letting Trent move into midfield first full time to see matches out or to help create things since we are in the habit of losing and having to claw back into winning positions. I think Joe's best role has been that swingman role where he could just come off the bench or spot start. Same thing for Harvey Elliott. I think his best role is off the bench and being able to spot start as well, come off the bench and change games. So I would want a starter. I don't think we can put that weight on Joel Kwanzaa just yet. He's been a revelation. I think if he hasn't played the way he has, I think we would all be crying for a center back to be brought in, but he's kind of quelled that need so far. But I think Matip going down injured has sped up the need to bring in a replacement for him. Obviously, his contract was running out, would be over in summer, and that's when you'd expect them to bring someone new. But I'd probably focus at someone who has a reasonable release clause or someone who's close to running out their deal. Maxence Lacroix's name has popped up, 23 years old, tall, speedy, plays in the Bundesliga with Wolfsburg, which is our current sporting director's former club. So that might be a target there. He is right-footed. I am partial to a lefty. I love lefties all over the pitch. So Inacio's name keeps coming up as well, but supposedly he might be going to Real Madrid. So we'll see, but I do think the at the top of the priority list as far as a holiday wish list for us currently would be a center back, just to make sure that uh, if we get hit with one more injury, we can survive it and not, you know, have to play Fabinho, Jordan Henderson at center back like we had to do that year. You know what I mean? All right. So we are looking to wrap things up towards the top of the hour. I know we started a little late, but before we close things down, any random thoughts or opinions in the chat, make sure to throw them on. We do have a lot of varying opinions here with regards to Paulinho. Some of those in favor, some of those against. Um, and you can see the point for both sides. Obviously, if money wasn't a factor, because we are brainwashed by FSG and always factoring how much is shelled out, I do think we kind of discount any moves for older players, especially when there's a significant transfer fee involved. So I think you're very correct in that assumption there, Haler. But Paul also has a great point. Um, that 40 or 50 is reasonable if he is the missing piece. So you kind of have to weigh those things out. I'd rather trophies and bite the bullet perhaps than not. But
What
we'll see
about
how
like
it plays out.
30 million and Fabio Carvalho back? Just send him back for the same price and then take it off the top. Just like take him. Make him happy.
Yeah, let's see. Who knows? Who knows with that kid? It's been a couple of bumpy years for Fabio Carvalho. Talent, it's not the issue. I'm not sure if it's personality or work ethic type of thing. Um, he didn't get minutes last season with Jurgen with a bunch of injuries in the squad, and he's not getting any minutes currently on loan at RB Leipzig. So we'll see. Hopefully, he can get it together. Obviously. All right. Let's see here before we wrap it up. I did want to bring up this talking point here. With all of our come from behind victories this year, or come from deficit to gain a point, for Klopp's cardiac kids, is our late wins a sign of building a contender, of building that tough skin that's needed to lift up trophies, or is kind of sneaking out with points, masking our flaws, and is the banana peel? Are we going to slip on the banana peel very, very soon? Quick thoughts on that. I'll go over to you, Drew.
I'm a bit more worried about it because it doesn't seem like the year we blitzed the title, I felt like there were a lot of 2-1 wins or 1-0 wins. Maybe not that many, but enough where we scraped by wins. But for me, it's the going behind first. Like, that's just not a good recipe. And we do that way too much. I think that it's even more draining. Like, I'm sure as supporters ourselves, when we're watching the games, like by the end of the game, it's like, oh my God, like feels like just did an emotional marathon. So I can't imagine the players doing that week in, week out from this early stage of the season. Like maybe when that's the final push that you can use that adrenaline or whatever to carry you across the line. But we need to kick into gear. We need to lock up the defense and we need to score more. We need to make this easier to win because this is way too early to be scraping together wins. But I do believe we have all the right components to where we will click. So definitely not a long-term strategy and one I'm worried about, but I think Klopp and the team will sort it out and hopefully not continually give us heart attacks every game.
All right, thank you, Drew. Brandon, are late victories building tough skin, or are they masking what's lying underneath?
I'm going to be a complete cop out here and say both. It's great for a team that has a lot of new components to be able to like find ways to win. It gives them great belief, like knowing the belief in the system, especially coming in, is like, okay, we have a whole new midfield. How's this really going to work? But yet we continue to win. That's great. But like as Drew's saying, going down first is not a good recipe. I mean, the quadruple year towards the end of the season, that started happening regularly, and then twice against Tottenham and then against Madrid in the final, we couldn't come back because we gave up the first goal. It's like sometimes you just run into that moment. So the best thing to do, not give up the first goal, but we continue to do so, which is worrying. But at the same time, it's very promising that a new group of players can come together like this and continuously overcome it and get wins. I just am just kind of like Drew said, my heart just can't take this anymore. My little heart just can't take it no more, man.
All right. Boom, 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 boom. What about you, Colin? Are elite victories building up this team character, or is it masking issues underneath?
I think it's almost definitely building character. If anything, I think this team is. I think they've got maybe the. You see it sometimes with like young teams where it's like they don't know to be scared, like they don't know to feel the pressure of a moment because they've never. A lot of them have never been there or never done it before. They've never gone through the entire. The pressure of an entire Premier League, title chase.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of attitude of like, maybe they don't know what to be afraid of. Maybe they don't know that, just scraping by is just scraping by and that's a bad thing. Really. They're just winning games. Just win the game. And hopefully we just continue to do that.
All right, Colin, kind of bringing in Al Davis's memory, former Raiders owner of Just Win, baby. Yep, definitely. Just keep adding those 3 points is all that really matters. Just for my thoughts on the subject, I think having these type of matches and these type of victories and experiences as a team, especially as a team fairly new, a lot of new pieces, a lot of young pieces as well. I think it's an accelerator as far as the development of the team, of their talent, of their chemistry. Again, obviously, I've never been in war, but the thing that you within wars, you find out in the foxhole who has your back and who doesn't, and these guys are finding out early and often who has their back and who doesn't, and that's, to me, it's a good thing. I'd rather sweat through these early matches to then hopefully coast as the season goes along. That we finally have that team structure and that chemistry, because again, all these pieces, not all these pieces, but a lot of these pieces are very, very new. Or last year were injured and didn't get to play a lot of minutes together last season. So a lot of things to be positive about. It is building up that tough skin. And with that, we are adding in more records as well. Jurgen Klopp now has, I believe, 16 or 17 extra time goals and victories, surpassing Sir Alex Ferguson. So let's just keep making records, and definitely makes for more exciting matches to watch, even though you are sweating to the very end. All right, so before we wrap it up for the day, closing thoughts from each of you, and I'll make sure to get all of your closing thoughts, not like the last time I hosted. Brandon, your closing thoughts before we wrap it up.
Well, we got a good European game this week where we'll hopefully see a lot of the young kids. I want to see as many young kids as possible. I want to see some of these young talents that I keep hearing about but can't get to see. I want to see a lot of them. I don't want to see Mo anywhere near the pitch. I don't want to see Virgil anywhere near the pitch. I don't want them in the same country. They need to be sitting at home in a nice cocoon of just safety. That's what we need from them. And then this weekend, I'm looking forward to a absolute destruction of Man United, though maybe it's not as bad as we all think. Might just be a 2-0. What was the it was the 5-0 when we went there and won 5-0, where in the second half we didn't even take it out of first gear because it was just not fair anymore. So hopefully we get something like that again, where it's over at halftime and we just can just stroll for the second half. Because like I said, my heart can't take another come from behind victory, especially against Man United in the form they're in at the moment.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Closing thoughts from you, Colin.
Yeah, play the kids. But like Brandon said, put everybody else in hyperbaric chambers. Run the damn ball. Oh, wrong sport.
There's no crying in baseball.
Damn, so close. How can you not be romantic about? No, yeah, that's wrong too. No, yeah. Listen, I'll take a 2-0 win. It'd be great. on the weekend. That'd be awesome. I quite literally do not care about Thursday at all. I don't care if we play the 17s and they get beat by 10. Don't
Jay
care.
Spearing, toss him in.
Literally don't care. You guys want a first team game? Have fun. Here you go. Give some effort. And then we know that we have to take care of business. And listen, with the team that they are rolling out right now and the attitude that they clearly have, I think we're going to handle the business that we have.
Awesome. And well, thank you all for. No, I'm kidding. Drew, your closing thoughts.
Oh man, here you go. Much the same as Brandon and Colin. Wrap all the first team players in wool on Thursday, and for Sunday, much same with Colin. I take it 2-0 hands down. For me, first and foremost is the win. And I'm actually a little worried about injuries because I'm wondering if they play I know they have injuries. I know Man United have injuries, so I'm wondering if they play a younger. What was that kid? Hannibal, very feisty. If they play like McTominay, like somebody who's known to leave a leg in, I'd be a little worried for our players getting a nasty challenge. So hoping everyone is safe, no injuries on the weekend, and a win. Easy win, nice easy win. What about you, Rigo?
My closing thoughts are: play all the damn kids you can on Thursday. Get them some experience. You never know when you might have to count on one of them. I'd love to see Cade Gordon, make a successful return after pretty much 2 years being off the pitch. I'd love to see more of Ben Doak. Trey Neone, he's been lighting it up in the under-21s since he's made his move from Leicester. I'd love to see all those kids get some minutes to the regular guys as well. You don't want them getting tight, but certainly just play the young cats as much as possible. For the weekend, all I care about is 3 points. Would I love a blowout? Absolutely. But all I care about is adding points. I don't care how they come, whether it's last minute, first minute, just keep adding 3 points every single weekend. And let's get our second Premier League title. Liverpool are the favorites, in my opinion. That's all we need to do. Well, I just want to thank everyone for joining tonight's stream. It's been a pleasure. We absolutely love doing Star Stripes and Anfield Nights. I had a more convenient time for those of you here in the American time zones or non-England time zones. But thank you all for joining. For myself, Rigo, Brandon, Colin, Andrew, thank you all. Have a good night, and you'll never walk alone.